Mic checks echo, I'm the sound of the brawl. Canvas creaks, flesh slaps, bodies rise and fall. Steel cage dreams, no escape. All pain, blood stains mixed with the sweat and the chain. Adrenaline surging my veins, spit fire. Crowd chants feeding my soul's desire. Turnbuckles tremble when my wrath collides. Glory's the belt and I'm taking the pride. The squared circle where legends collide. No mercy, just a wild ride. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom, the squared circle digest. Pyros ignite, shadows dance in the glow. Ringside roar, it's a gladiator show. Chokeholds tighter than the grip of the night. Climbing the ropes to new championship heights. The mental battlefield, no room for doubt. Every move calculated, every scream a shout. The bell tolls louder than a sinner's regret. This is the place where the bold never forget. The squared circle where legends collide. No mercy, just a wild ride. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom, the squared circle digest. The squared circle where legends collide. No mercy, just a wild ride. Lights flash, fist clash, can't resist. Boom, the squared circle digest. Circle Digest!
It is 7P, the place to be. It is the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. That is the great Frankie Fresco. How we doing, sir?
Good afternoon, sir. We're going, we're here.
That doesn't sound well, but okay. I'll take it as at least you're here. I appreciate you.
No, I love being here, bro. What are you talking about, bro? I love being here.
No. I mean, it sounds like you're, it's one of those days apparently. There, Adrian, Oscar, Papa already in on the chat. If you're watching us on X or Twitch or Facebook, wherever, don't forget, jump over to the YouTube channel, Stanley Media House Network, and Frankie Fresco. Hit that subscribe, set the notifications. So you'll know when we go live. WrestleMania in the rear view mirror. My God. And some other stuff going on. But we're going to get started with WrestleMania, the fallout, and everything is there. And don't forget, we did do a pre and post all weekend long with 2 Raw for SmackDown. Make sure you go over to Rainy Day Pod. Check out all those there. Memo in already as well. Appreciate you, sir. Frankie, we kind of broke down the WrestleManias there. We had last night Raw. I watched it again today to see if I missed anything or anything that stood out or anything. Your thoughts, I guess. WrestleMania, roll it all in the whole weekend from Friday to the end of WrestleMania, and then the Raw after WrestleMania.
Well, look, man, at the end of the day, looking back at how night 1 and night 2 was, I still think WrestleMania was pretty good. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't as exciting as previous years, but I think they bounced back really well on Sunday. Then we looked at Monday Night Raw. You were questioning a lot where were they going to go with this, and they gave us kind of an answer with a couple of these storylines left and right, which is pretty cool. Now I guess we got to brace ourselves for possibly bloodline type of vibes again, and the fact that now Roman, Jacob Fatu, maybe that's what's going to be now for Backlash, which if it is, it's not bad. I kind of like it. And then remember, Cody Rhodes, still with a messed up eye. Yeah. Teasing it out there, saying that CM Punk, you always will have a shot. So, again, they built some storylines off of this. At the end of the day, I think the fans are, I like the bloodline. It's always worked, right? So, what better way to go back to it? Because you still got Jacob. You still got possibilities you could do with Solo and all them out there. You got all those options. So I think they could go somewhere. They got me a little bit intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. I like it. They
No,
teased us too with
I'm not
Gunther and
upset
everything.
with it. I'm not upset with it because I'm just happy it's not Obafemi or Gunther right away. Like I don't want it to be one of those two right away.
Why they teased
Because
us about Femi, but
oh
he
no,
was.
they did. They did. The ruler is here. I get that. But again, if it is Obafemi or Gunther right away,
Mhm.
Roman's not losing that right away. There's no, I don't think. I mean, he's gonna be there all through the summer, right? So, again, I wasn't upset about any of the story. I just thought it was kind of an okay Raw. I mean, they moved along. They started new storylines. It wasn't. I don't know. I mean, again, compared to other Raws after WrestleManias, you got a couple of debuts and another debut coming next week with Ethan Page, Sol Ruka. Zarya got a little bit of rub there. They got their match tonight, so they promoted that.
The homie Joe
Uh,
Henry next week, right?
Joe Hendry with concert next week. Yep. Liv, you kind of got, I guess, a little bit of tease of her and Stephanie probably running it back at Backlash as well. Um, the Cody CM Punk thing I thought was okay. I mean, it set up something there for down the road or however you want to look at that. The Jacob Fatu thing at the end, hey, I'm not gonna argue that one. It almost feels the Jey Uso vibes when Jey Uso wouldn't necessarily acknowledge Roman Reigns, and then it had to be like beat into him, and then Jimmy turned in it that way, and now it's Jacob being that way. So I'm not upset with that at all. The only question, again, I would have is, and again, not that WWE it matters, I guess in a way, is Jacob Fatu was on SmackDown. Roman wins a Raw title, and now Jacob's challenging Roman. Cody's on SmackDown. He comes up on Raw, and basically him and CM Punk have their thing. So I'm just wondering where, if they're going to kind of do the whole subtle moving of brands without even really, kind of technically acknowledging it, and moving some guys around, and we'll see how it goes. But look, I wasn't upset with the Raw. I watched it again today, and I just was like, maybe I missed something to where it stood out. But I thought the Oba starting it was fantastic. And I thought the fact that all he said was the ruler is here and then dropped the mic, that's all he needs to say. He doesn't need to come out and cut some long ass promo. Dude just whooped up on Brock Lesnar, and that's all he needed to say. In my opinion, that's all he had to say.
Well, his entrance took forever, and
Yeah.
then
Oh no. Yeah.
it was there for a while. I mean, look, man, there is some good stuff out there. I think we need to stop with the whole SmackDown and Raw. Like, just if we're not gonna have draft and all that stuff, then
Yeah.
just let them be in both brands.
Yeah.
Screw it, especially since SmackDown suffers a lot, right? Still, SmackDown has been the one kind of big like the B show compared to Raw that's been the A show. So if we're gonna do that, just like because then like look, well all of a sudden we're like, okay, so what's gonna happen with Jacob? He's SmackDown now. He's coming to Raw. Or what about CM Punk? Now all of a sudden maybe he goes down to SmackDown because of the whole segment with Cody. I think they just need to just figure it out. Be like, you know what, man? Let's just forget about this whole like who's in Raw, who's on SmackDown, and just let them just go with the talent that you feel deserves to be on the shows and
And
give us
also,
a good product.
I think that'll get also investment because you'll tune in because you don't know who's going to show up on which show. It's no
Yeah.
longer, hey, I know when I turn in SmackDown, I'm going to see these guys, or when I turn into Raw, it's going to be
Yes.
these guys. It adds that intrigue to where,
It, it
there would be more there.
it also gives you like the fans who actually want to go to these Monday nights and
Yeah,
SmackDowns be like, okay, I could see this person could show up, that person could show up. It's not, the regular people that
yeah,
typically are in each one of those programs. So, I mean, look, I liked it. I like most of the stuff that they did out there. I like that they teased Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan a little bit out there. They teased what was it, Braun Breaker coming back. Paul Heyman mentioned the whole situation with Brock Lesnar. That was okay. That was pretty cool. And then yeah, it had his moments.
yeah,
And like you said, the call ups were pretty good. You got to
yeah.
saw Ethan Page, so Ruka. I don't agree with Joe Henry coming back or coming next week, but I guess we'll see. I don't. Did we see Danhausen? Did Danhausen, was he there
I
yesterday? I don't
did
think.
not see him at all. I don't think,
Did,
unless I missed something like because I'm not gonna lie. Once it said they were going to break, I put 3 minutes and I fast forwarded to the next thing. So I don't know if he had a small backstage thing, and I might have missed it going in and out of the breaks. But yeah,
I will say this. Thank you so much to you, sir, for giving me the tip of tuning in like maybe like 30 minutes into the show. That way you could fast forward these commercials. And when I look back now, we were complaining and bitching about WrestleMania and these commercials, but this is what we always get on Monday night on Netflix, right? We're
oh no,
always
yeah,
getting
yeah. It's
commercials left
always
and
been that
right.
way on
So,
Netflix. You just never. I don't remember a PLE being as many commercials as this last one. And again, more than likely it probably is. It just felt like it because I think the matches were so short. The commercials felt again. You go to a 3-minute commercial after a 6-minute match, it feels just as long. I mean, I think that was part of the problem too. It's like, and Josh said he's happy Oba retired Brock. I don't think that he retired him. I
no.
think again, I think the whole thing is going to be Gunther getting it's just being set up that way. The way Heyman's like, Gunther, sir, I owe you whatever it is you want. I will make it happen. Thank you, sir, and the things there. Eric said Danhausen had a spot during the commercials. Oh, you can see internationally. See, the international fans got. Apparently, they got Hulk Hogan all weekend, and they got Danhausen last night. We didn't get him.
Oh man, you know what? It's making me want to get the Netflix International. That way, I could go ahead and get some Hulk Hogan, especially since his documentary comes out this Wednesday.
Tomorrow,
Yeah, yeah. So it should be.
22nd.
Yeah. So man, I for a minute here, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought Sean was gonna tell me, Frankie, let's do the show tomorrow because we could have used the Hulk Hogan documentary as a follow up for us as a topic for today. For a minute there, I was like, man, I really hope Sean says let's do it tomorrow, but it's all good. And no, Adrian,
I
it's not
do
the
that
tip
all
only.
the time, so I didn't want to do that today because it is me always usually pushing it back. Frankie, once in a while, me most of the time is the way it goes. Let me see what else.
Oh, I know
See a
Adrian
couple
was
other things.
happy with the Street Profits coming back all of a sudden, right?
Oh yeah, man, yeah.
Street Profits.
Oscar said, I thought there was going to be some interest with Oba and Roman since there was some hype in the post show, but I like the Jacob challenge last night. Yeah, I was happy that they really didn't do the Oba thing. I mean, I know Oba came out and he basically said, the ruler is here, basically saying he's going to be here and he wants a title shot. Gunther mentioned the title shot. I like the fact that neither of them are going to get at least the way it looks like it's going to play out, neither of them will get the first shot. Because, again, my worry there is Roman's not losing on his first title defense. So how do you play it out with Gunther? Might be easier because you could put somebody else, however you want to do it. But how do you Oba beats Brock? Brock leaves his gear in the ring, and then he goes to the next pay-per-view and loses to Roman?
Let me ask you something because obviously they're going with Jacob Fatu. Do you feel it's messed up because, like you said, the chances that Roman loses to Jacob are very slim? But do you feel it's kind of messed up? Do you feel maybe Jacob should have a fair fight in this and possibly win this? Like, should he upset Roman and kind of like blindside the fans and be like, holy crap, Jacob pulled the upset, and then you run it back or something like that? Do you feel that WWE should possibly take the belt away from Roman right away, and especially if you're giving Jacob, I like Jacob a lot. I like him a
I do
lot, man.
too. But again, this is honestly, this is probably the safest way that WWE could go. Because it's not Jacob came out and he said, it's not just the title. I need what you have. I need everything that you have. I need the Jets. I need the this. I need the that. So now it's become personal, but also it's a family thing, right? It's still a bloodline. So ultimately, the Usos can get involved. The MFTs can get involved. And now you've kind of worked that out. And then you could even work that out for a couple more months, drawing Roman's reign out longer until he has to face Oba or Gunther, and then they beat him. The summer's over, and Oba takes over until Roman comes back, and he kind of runs through him at the end there. And again, now you've got to keep Oba up though, and almost making like Roman. What you can do is Roman could technically use this to shield himself from Oba Femi, because he's got Jacob Fatu. It becomes a family thing. They do, the whole bloodline part. So for 2 or 3 months, he can kind of run from Oba without technically running from Oba. He can make it seem like, what I'm saying? So, and WWE has a safe way to where you can have Usos interfere and cost Jacob. Then you could run it back to where, there's just so many ways you can cost Jacob. And then you have feuds lined up for Jacob as well. Once, or like you said, could they possibly say, hey, Jacob, you win it. Roman will have to run after the title again. And they run it back there. I mean, again, depending on how they do it, it wouldn't hurt Roman if he takes the L, depending on how he takes the L, I guess is what I'll say.
I'll go ahead and say that one thing I really did like. I don't know if it's on sale, but though the jersey that Jey Uso and I guess the hoodie that Jimmy Uso was
42.
wearing,
The
yeah,
42.
42. Those things look hard, bro. I was like, oh crap, these guys looking. Yeah, I wanted to buy me one of those and be like, yeah, I could rock
they
that.
did it in the Raiders colors because of Vegas, so it's kind of, it's almost Raiderish the way they did it.
That's the point, yeah.
In Vegas with the 42. At least the jerseys I saw, they're nice. They're badass. We got Cheyenne is in as well now. Good to see her. Josh, what do you say? This is not Vince McMahon running the show. Yeah, but again, it's funny some of the stories that are coming out about Vince McMahon being mad about certain things that happened at WrestleManias and being upset. And I don't know. Did you see the story that Sean Ross Sapp put out?
Well, no, I didn't read what he wrote.
I guess when they were in Tampa, when they did the WrestleMania in Tampa, Hogan was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the host or a host, or he was going to make a cameo, and they wanted him dressed up as a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
And Hogan didn't like it or something. I'm paraphrasing the exact things, but Hogan did not like the outfit, or the outfit was bothering him or whatever. So one of the producers was like, just take it off and go out in your red and yellow. And Vince McMahon got so mad. He said, you ruined this WrestleMania. The whole WrestleMania was built around Hulk Hogan being a pirate.
That's now that you bring stuff up
It's like, oh my goodness.
now
bro.
now that now that you bring stuff up like that, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Outside of the commercials, we know the commercials were a big issue. We know that the wrestling matches were not long enough and all that stuff. What was something that you did like about WWE that you would like for them to kind of do next year for WrestleMania? And what is something that you would like to change in WrestleMania for next year as well?
Definitely the match links is what I would definitely want to change, man. Because, I mean, to me, again, you do all this build to get 6.5 minutes for a title match. Like, I would definitely make that build. And, man. And the other thing I would do is I would make sure to get a dome that doesn't have lights coming through it. Because like we talked about in some of the entrances, it did affect, what was good?
You're having a hard time with what was good. All right, so since you say that, I'm gonna say something of what I think they need to.
No, I'm not saying that everything was bad. I'm just saying like what was good that I would be like, oh, let's do that again. I don't know, man. I really,
right.
I don't know. Like, what about this pay-per-view where, and I'm not saying that they were terrible things. It's just, I was not happy with this one. I don't know that I would be like, yeah, let's run that back. Let's do that again. Maybe the Danhausen part with the little go-kart, like something like that. Maybe give him a Danhausen mobile, something, like that I would do again. Like just those angles I would I would keep there. But everything else, I don't. I mean, it's just to me, it was okay. I mean, again, looking back at it too, the other thing I thought about was this. It felt like Saturday was the TKO driven WWE, and Sunday turned the page to being more of, okay, this is going to be what you're going to see in the future. Because the way they did the logos and everything was the future, and then the kind of the chaos that was Pat McAfee and all that stuff. Even though they didn't really do a lot, it felt like it was a flip of a page. But we'll see how it goes. But maybe that would be the other thing I would do that they did this year. That would what I do. I would theme night 1 and night 2 separately. Make them have different themes of them. Not necessarily the matches involved, but the different setups, the different, things like that. I like that concept of having night 1 and night 2 be a little bit different.
Okay, for me, there's 2 things I hope they would change. Number 1, stop it with the ESPN. I don't want them to do this again, that they preview it an hour. Or they're gonna like Sunday on ESPN2. I'm sorry, Saturday on ESPN2 and Sunday on ESPN. Like, look, man, if ESPN is 100% committed in WWE and they are 100% invested on it, then just show a goddamn WWE WrestleMania for the fans on ESPN. Screw it. It is what it is. Teasing it and then all of a sudden going to like the pay-per-view, I think it kind of put more extra pressure for those first 2 fights to get rushed and try to squeeze it all in within that time.
They had an hour, man. It wasn't rushed. It was the fact they wanted 47 minutes of commercials and 13 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah, so that's why, like, look,
but that's not ESPN or ESPN2. That's TKO and what they want to do.
Well, what they could do too is if they do ESPN again, if they, because they're obviously gonna do it more often. Do it like what I wouldn't say UFC. Do it like what AEW does. I think AEW. Remember last time AEW did a good job about it. Like they'll show the fight. The fight doesn't have to end during the viewing. Like they'll just say, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, tune in now. We're going live on pay-per-view, whatever," and continue the matches into the premium live event. That's the way I would look at it. Not so much.
But then if you are trying to get the fans to buy it, that feels like you're forcing me to buy it because I want to watch the ending of that match.
Do you think AEW is forcing it to buy
it?
I
don't think AEW cares that much. As far as
I think that's the same thing with WWE. I don't think at the end of the day, I don't see WWE forcing it. Forcing it was the commercials. But making people go, I think they just wanted to get it to the audience. That's how I looked on the ESPN.
I'm starting to think that there's a disconnect between TKO, ESPN, and Netflix.
I do feel that there's a little bit of a disconnect between
those three. Big disconnect, yeah. I feel.
There's competition. But remember, there was competition with this when it was USA and Netflix, I think? Wasn't it the same thing? Where all of a sudden USA was like, oh, we need this guy here. And then Netflix is like, no, we need this guy and stuff like that. So this is nothing new, Sean. This is something that's always been happening when you have 2 different programming.
But Ari Emanuel is TKO's whatever, right? Pat McAfee is one of his guys. He's negotiating a deal with Netflix to get Pat McAfee to leave ESPN.
Yeah, there's some heat right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like there seems to be a little bit of a, okay, all right, whatever.
But I don't even think Pat McAfee wants to stay on ESPN. I don't think ESPN wants to re-sign Pat McAfee either.
I'm not saying that necessarily whatever, because I know they want McAfee to be a part of the whole Netflix sports part and everything else there. But again, it just feels like there's a huge disconnect between the two. Like to me, Netflix gets better shows than some of the PLEs that ESPN gets.
Yeah.
And you would think it would be a little bit, half and half maybe.
But you also got to realize that at one point in time, Stephanie McMahon went ahead and had told the fans, hey, if you don't want to go, you could get what is it, the VPN outside of the Europe, and you could get everything on Netflix. So that's kind of like a jab. Like you're taking away business from ESPN. So I mean, I don't, and I don't know if ESPN liked those comments from her. So
But also that's a sponsor of hers. So the VPNs are they pay for that advertising. I mean,
I don't know,
you know,
but
I mean, it is. It's just funny because I feel like, and Eric had a point there where, you know, again, they put the unsanctioned match on the ESPN2.
I think that hurt
And
it a
again,
lot.
I mean, ESPN2 is what it is. That's what I thought was funny though, where they were like, "Oh, ESPN's so upset that they won a free hour." They didn't even put the first night on their big station. They put it on ESPN2. Are they really that upset about it? Do you think they? Dude, if they're that upset about it, they would have had both nights on the main channel.
I did like it better on ESPN than on ESPN2, to be honest with you.
I mean, it
I
makes
think
sense to have it on ESPN.
I think it gained more traction. Now, the other thing I would change, and I think they need to do this because they used to do it. Is I think I mentioned this during our post and pre. Um, when you have a host and with all these commercials, the host needs to be more involved, in my opinion. I don't just want to see him come out at the beginning, whoever it is, whether it's a celebrity or whether it's a retired wrestler, and just say, "Hey, welcome to WrestleMania," and that's it. And then later down the road, just talk about the either have a little small segment or and talk about how many fans are at the arena or at the stadium. I hope they try to do more with that. I want a host that is
Yeah,
involved in the backstage where you
it's not
have
going to happen. It's not going to happen, Frankie, because then you're taking away from commercial time. Think about it. Where would they had to host? What, taken away from match time?
yeah,
The
but
match
you
is
could
already short enough.
but what you could do backstage is what I had told you on the pre-shows on the rainy day was that you could use those you could have a Snickers bar in the back. You could have a Slim Jim somewhere. You could still have those concepts, still bring them on and have them visibly out there, which will compensate for the advertisement than having to show a commercial. I feel like you could do that, and you
I
could,
agree with you, but I just think that it's past that point. It's past that point.
yeah. I mean,
And then
unless
also you have to know too is like this is the funny part of this whole thing. Ram, how do I say this right here? Ram was a big part of this PLE for WWE. Do you know that John Cena is the face of Honda?
I didn't even know Honda sponsored was with
Voices
working with Cena.
all of like the Hondas and those commercials and things. He's their voice.
Know that.
That's why he never said anything about Ram or anything like that.
It's
And
terrible.
that's the other part that it gets to when you have these, you know, these politics throughout. Like that's the one thing that I do find the most interesting. And I agree with you. I think they could have done that. But then now you have to logistically set up for it and it costs more and it does things. Whereas now I just run your commercials and I get your money and we're good. So
I,
I
I
just feel they're going a different route than
yeah.
what they should. I don't think it's right, but I agree with you. Your point is right on point. But I just don't think it's going to go that route because greed.
Yeah, I one thing I do feel like they kind of I enjoyed and would like to see more often is I was kind of happy that there wasn't so much involvement. You didn't have so many people like
Yeah.
you didn't have the whole, Roman and CM Punk was such a great fight and nobody got involved. I like that a lot. I thought you sell more the wrestling to the fans than somebody running backstage, going into the ring and interfering with the match. I thought that worked. I thought that's something that they should kind of like capitalize. I think you didn't hear anybody criticize the main event. Nobody was saying, "Oh, that match was boring." because there was no like shenanigans going here or there. There was no Taker, there was no Stone Cold, there was none of this stuff, and there was no Rock. And granted, you have both sides of the spectrum, right? Remember the WrestleMania where the Rock, the Taker, everything was great, and we're like, wow, we're getting blown. And then you got the one here where it's just Roman versus CM Punk. No interference, just these guys duking it out and these guys just showing what they're all about. And I think the fans like both of them. So I feel like they should possibly stick with that more than having to bring somebody out. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Braun Breaker coming out on one of the matches, Io Sky coming out and for a save and all that stuff. So in some of the matches, I'm okay with them bringing, interference. But when it comes to the main one, I feel like that for me, and that's probably because I'm such a hardcore wrestler guy, I like that. I like better the wrestling. No interference. Just let those two guys show what they got and let them showcase themselves. And they did a phenomenal job. And that's I think one of the best things I enjoyed about this WrestleMania, that we were able to get a fair match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns with no interference, and the better man won. That's it. That's what it was.
Yeah. And I think looking back at the build, it got what it needed to do on that match. Was exactly what, watching the build back and how everything played out. I think it ended up being exactly what it needed to do. And again, when you look back at Saturday and Sunday, there was a lot less on Sunday of necessarily the involvement and shenanigans than there was on Saturday. So
yeah,
we'll see where they go, which way they go, man. The call-ups we talked about. I know you had put on here, usually after WrestleMania, of course, there are some layoffs and things like that.
There's some casualties out there, man.
Casualties every once in a while.
Which is going to happen. You know that, right?
Yeah. But I was thinking about this, and again, I think you're going to see some of these, of course, the low hang. I don't know. When I was thinking about this after I saw what you put there, I look at the lower part of the roster. You're doing call-ups. They've already kind of started doing like the ID cuts and things like that.
Well, let me ask you this. They're bringing up Joe Henry, right? Yeah. Ethan Page, Sol Ruka, most likely JC Jane on Friday. Who else did they bring up? Was there anybody else that you could think of? I don't recall anybody else.
Zarya came out, but it wasn't a bring up. It was an attack Sol Ruka to do there. I mean, I think Friday there might be a couple more.
Who do you think might? Well, let's talk about who they might bring. Besides JC Jane, who do you think deserves from the NXT side to possibly get called up and be showcased? I know they mentioned Lola Vice. I think Lola Vice is. I mean, she's the champion.
Lola's going to be down there with the championship for a little while. I agree. I mean, you could throw Saints up there
already. You think you want to throw him up there already?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of, because you brought up Sol Ruka, Ethan Page, and Joe Hendry. So you brought 3 to Raw.
Yes.
So I got to think there's going to be like a one woman, which will be JC Jane probably, and one male. And on the males, I mean, they just gave D'Angelo the heavyweight title.
They can't move D'Angelo now.
So I think it's Saints by default almost. I mean, I'm just trying to think of who else.
Yeah. If anybody in the chat knows or thinks of anybody who deserves.
Adrian and the Homers do a lot more.
Oh, Monroe's a good one on the women's side.
Too, yeah.
Eric,
I think that would be 3. That would be 3 to SmackDown. Then it'd be 2 ladies and 1 male, and 2 males and 1 lady to Raw. So that could work, man.
And the women's division needs some help on the SmackDown side over there because of so many people being tagged.
They need to break up the tag teams and put people back into single wrestling. That's what they need to do on SmackDown. They got too many fake tag teams. It's Charlotte and Alexa. If you break those up, your women division gets a lot stronger.
And Blake is actually a good one because I think she's having a casket match tonight with Tatum Paxley. So if Tatum beats her, then that's a perfect move
that's exactly what happened with Lola or JC Jane. I thought she was going to be on Raw, but I kind of like the Sol Ruka on Raw. just because of the energy she brings. And
I just feel that Slow Ruka is still they teased us with Slow Ruka, but they didn't go ahead and actually like, they brought Zarya, so they were trying to sell that match of those two over there. But on the men's side, man, I'm looking at the roster as we speak. There really isn't. I mean, remember NXT when you look at the guy side, it's the NXT side is so
no, once
weak.
they got rid
I
of
don't.
Oba and Trick and
Yeah,
all those guys went up, the
they're
the
all
male
new.
side took a hit.
Yeah, they're all new. Like I'm looking at some of the people. Like Charlie Dempsey is an old one in there, but I don't think he's ready to move up, and I don't
Well,
think he's gonna be.
I don't think they've put him on a big enough platform to move him up. I honestly think he's going to be at NXT to help a lot of the young guys because of Regal. He can train the young guys and work with them, and he'll be that like focal point there. They'll keep him there so that you get a veteran guy working with all the young talent because you got to have that mixture, in the way especially with the way TKO seems to be going. If you're being paid, you're going to be elevated rather quickly. Jordan Grace, Oba, I'm sure picked up a good deal. Trick, all the guys that are probably getting elevated money wise are also going to be elevated to the main roster because the way it is in TKO looks like it's if you're getting paid, you're going to be basically on the main roster.
Yeah, and again, just looking at the guy side, Miles Bourne, he's still a champion. He's not going anywhere. Josh Briggs, I think if they were to bring him up, I think he would go ahead and kind of fall out. I don't think it would be good to bring him up already. He's an old one too, there as well. So is Lexus King. I think that's another one that.
Yeah, that's the one that always slides through there. Lexus could be an interesting one.
Yeah, the other one on the women's side who would be good to call up is Miss Parker. Miss Parker. So Miss Parker
Yeah.
would be a good one, especially since she's getting smashed by Jey Uso. So maybe Jey Uso gives them a little bit of a tap on the shoulder, say, "Yo, bring my girl up to the main roster, bro. I need to be with her during my trips around the for Raw and SmackDown. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what."
Yeah,
So
and to be honest, she can go if she gets the right push.
she's great,
She
dude.
can be in there. It just that's the problem with NXT too, though, is like a lot of times you've watched them and like JC Jane to me, I didn't think was that good until she had to be, and then you saw her come out and be like, oh man, I didn't think that she was, and sure enough, man, she's got the she's gonna be. I think she can be a pretty good heel on that side.
All right, so now that we said those are the possibilities of coming up,
Yeah.
who do you feel are maybe some of the casualties that I mean,
Unfortunately,
obviously,
the Viking Raiders, I think, are two that'll probably be
yeah,
gone.
they've been kind
Um,
of a no show, right?
I think Otis and Tozawa could be on the
Oh
cutting
no, don't
block.
say that. Don't say that, Sean. That
Yeah.
would break my heart if Otis. No, no.
Oh no,
Otis has been around.
I love Otis and everything else. I just think again, I'm looking at the way TKO does it now. What is the value of Otis and Tozawa other than community wise now? Now they've been doing a lot of the
That would
community
hurt.
stuff.
That would hurt,
They
bro.
were they have been out there. So again, it's not necessarily always just wrestling. It's also community wise. So that might keep Otis and Tozawa there because they do all the boys and girls stuff. They do a lot of the other stuff that in the community, which might keep them handy depending on what their contracts are. Because I think it's going to also come down to what what money, man. What's
Yeah.
the money on the deals, and does it make sense to keep them? And that's the part I don't know. I don't know who's making what. So I don't know what the value is for all these guys. Because when I look at it, I look at the Viking Raiders, I look at Otis Tozawa. You look at some of the Humbert the guys that are back, but they do go back and forth to AAA. That's the other thing that's interesting because they're not necessarily used on WWE TV, but they've been used on AAA almost pretty consistently.
What do you
So
think about maybe Grayson Waller and Kofi? Maybe those guys getting
I would
pushed
hope.
out.
I mean,
Like Xavier Woods, another one.
I would hope they let them go out on their own. But again, it's TKO now, so I would not be. They're. I would say yes. They're on the chopping block. When I look at SmackDown,
What about and the ladies like Alba Fire? Maybe might be one that might be.
yeah, I mean the only thing that might save her would be the Chelsea Green thing because she does that so well.
Well,
Um,
isn't WWE still paying Piper Niven?
Yeah, well,
because
that she her broke her neck and she might be done. So yeah, I think that's part of the
one of the
issue
casual
there was
and,
the
and
way.
and then look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but the whole they're teasing, Solo breaking up with all these guys. I mean, if you break that
Yeah,
group up,
yeah,
what's gonna happen to JC Mateo? I
yeah.
I, I
I
don't know
think
about him there. And then
yeah.
on the and if you
Or
look
not Tama. What's the other one?
Tala,
Toa. No, not Tala.
oh,
Not
the other
Tama.
one,
The other
the one
one.
that
Yeah,
messes up all the time.
yeah. It's Tonga Toa, right? Tonga Noah. Tonga Toa. Tonga.
Damn.
What's one? You know which one I'm
The
talking
one
about.
that messes up all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
The one
yeah,
that,
yeah.
okay, Tongaloa,
Tonga
Tongaloa,
Loa. Okay,
because
that's it.
Tamatonga is the one
Yeah,
that's like,
that's it. Yeah.
Tamatonga is the one that's getting like upset
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
exactly. And shout out to Tony. Tony said that in real life he's a little bitch. Not gonna lie, but also you also got you know the what is it? This guy what is their names? With Nikki Cross and all them. What they just had the
Oh, the
feud.
Wyatt
The
Six.
Wyatt Six.
Yeah,
Are they gonna keep the Wyatt Six in
yeah.
place,
That'd be interesting to see too.
or
Because yeah,
can they?
because
Or
those
they
are
break them? Because that would
yeah,
look. They've been selling us those guys going at it, especially the night before WrestleMania was.
well, no, that was supposed to be the blow off. That was supposed to be the end of the feud right there.
So now what are you gonna do with the Wyatt Six?
Yeah. Unless
Where
you repackage them, I don't know. I don't know.
so those
Yeah,
are
they haven't done a good job with them so far. So I don't know what makes it any different now. I mean,
so those could be some casualties in the Wyatt
yeah,
Six because
yeah.
it sucks because Dexter Loomis.
And
I,
Eric
I
is 100%. JC Mateo is a beast, and they're using him wrong.
oh
Jeff Cobb, dude, is just
he
a
should have gone to
banger.
AEW all day,
He
and that's why
was, and they didn't
Wilfred.
use him. They didn't use him there either. That's why he left there.
No, but I think they realized they made a mistake. I think they would have used him right the second time around because to be honest, the way they're using JC
Dude,
Mattel right now,
if you don't use me right the first time around, I don't give you a second time around
well, yeah, he
until
went.
I have to.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna have to because they're not using him right over there in WWE either. So unless he goes to TNA or something, maybe he decides to hey, let me test
Yeah.
the waters, or just go back to New Japan Wrestling and just say screw
Yeah.
it, I'm gonna go over there.
No,
I had
that's what I
success over
would. I
there.
mean,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go
if
over
they
there.
do it that way, yeah. But and New Japan is doing better contracts now. They usually only do a year. Now they're offering longer contracts. So we'll see how it goes, man.
What about Kip Wilson's ex partner, the one who also was injured? Like, what is the deal with these guys that are out for a long, long time? Do they just
Yeah, I mean,
release them, or because they're still injured? Like, how does their contracts work with that? Like,
I don't know
like
how
I'm saying,
that
like,
unless they
Piper
release
Niven,
them
him.
with unless they release them with like a I mean, again, technically they're contracted workers, right? They're not. They technically could be jackass and be like, "Hey, you're not working, we're not paying you." But for the most part, they usually keep paying them up to a certain time. So if they release them, I've got to think they're gonna take. But again, I don't know now the way it works now. I don't know what they would do, man. And you're right, Eric. He might never wrestle again. That injury, that wasn't a.
Yeah, he was
That's
having a
yeah.
couple guys, and were both him and Piper Niven both, going through the situation where they could be forever not wrestling anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And again, usually the casualties are people too that are usually injured too. So that
yeah.
unfortunately, but again, we don't know. But it tends to happen, right? You call up people and then they let go of other people. So hopefully, that's not the case. But there's a possibility. But it's unfortunate if that does happen because again,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people who
And
won't be
some of the
rostering.
cuts might come from NXT too. I mean,
Oh, all day.
because there's a lot of talent there that haven't either performed the way they wanted or whatever, and you can cut some bait there as well. But again, your big money is going to come from the roster. So
I agree. All right, so we talked about the WrestleMania. We talked about Monday Night Recap. We talked about the call ups and the layoffs that might happen. Let's go with because this could tie in. So if you're good with this, let's talk about this Cora Jade situation. if
Okay.
you're good
All
with
right.
that. And the reason I want to talk about that is because if you guys also notice, there's again, and this is something that has been going on over and over, which is the fans pushing the boundaries, getting ahead, going and doing some crazy shit. You saw what happened with CM Punk. You saw that, Bailey was hugging AJ Lee. This guy goes, zooms in, and boom. CM Punk, she was telling him like back off, like back off. If you guys haven't seen the video, I know CM Punk has been having a rough day. He just lost, but still, and then he just slaps the phone. And then for you guys that, especially on Saturday when a lot of people were upset with the quality of WrestleMania Night One, Cora Jade, also known as Elena Black, was over there in Las Vegas, obviously doing a whole bunch of like what is I guess autographs,
Yeah, she was at
photographs.
She was at WrestleCon where they had a lot of the indie talent, AEW talent, legends, every mixture of everything over there, and they sell opportunities for photos, and they allow the wrestlers to make money, sell shirts, whatever. So
So it was trending where she recorded this guy, and you see this guy walking out, and she's like, arrest this guy. Don't ever let this guy come into the building. Don't let this guy come to wrestling. And it was the reason that she felt molested. It looks like the guy pulled an Adrian and grabbed some ass, got some booty out there without being. No, sorry,
slid the
Adrian.
slid the hand down during the picture.
Sorry, Adrian. I just that's the first thing that I pictured in my head. I think Adrian would be that type of guy who would grab Elena Black's booty too. But no. All jokes aside, but she got offended, and a lot of people were like, "Yo, like, how you disrespecting her and all that stuff." So, Sean, again, man, what is going on? Like, why is WWE
It's
and this
not
whole
WWE. It's
everything wrestling in general? Why are
the
they
problem
allowing
is
this?
the problem is like one WWE security. I mean, what are you doing? I get it. It's a little bit of a hard thing to do because of being Vegas, but you had a year knowing you're going to Vegas. You couldn't have had like something set up to where these 5 floors are for WWE personnel. They're going to be, whatever you got to do for those 2 days. If you don't have a card or whatever, it doesn't go up to the floor, or have security on every floor. Like, I get you've got a little bit of a hard time getting people through to the elevators, but you could have found we're going through the back elevator. I'm sure they got employee elevators and things where you could have went around having to walk through, but again, people walking and everything else. Here's the thing, man. People feel entitled because they pay. And again, I saw some people, even on the Cora Jade thing, be like, oh, what are you so worried about? You have an OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Really?
Say
Seriously?
yeah.
That gives you the right to grope somebody just because, like, it just doesn't make sense, man, to me, dude. People are so entitled or feel like, oh, well, I'm paying you money, so therefore I should get whatever I like. I don't know where the problem in society has fallen, man, where like that was the thing too. Like when I wrestled, it wasn't like we stood there and we did our pose or whatever we were doing. There was no really arm around, unless like, there were certain fans that you knew where, you could do that. But if it was some like nobody I'd ever seen before, it was a pose. You're in front of me. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where like they almost got to get back to that, man, because obviously people don't understand boundaries, man. And in this day and age, I know what's her name? She's now the commissioner in TNA. I can't think of her name. She had the stalker that broke into her house, and the black hair. Oh man, what? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh man,
I don't recall who you're
she's
talking
doing
about.
the TNA thing now. I'm mixing up her names now. She came out with Santino, the first AMC
Oh, the
show.
one that got fired from WWE?
Yes,
That is I forgot her name, man.
and I'm drawing a blank on it.
Yeah, I
But
forgot her name too.
she was stalked. They had guys was at her house. She was watching on a camera where I think the guy was in her house and she was out on the road. So then Vince ended up moving her and paid for security for 6 months so that she couldn't, and paid for her house and stuff like that. dude, people don't understand boundaries. You're at the airport. You're just like Sonya Deville. Thank you,
Sonya
Sammy.
Deville. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Now she's Daria something. That's where I was getting mixed up. I was
I think her
thinking
name is
Daria.
Daria Gray. Daria Gray.
Daria, maybe. I remember that. That's where I was getting mixed up. Sonya Deville. But man, like, you can't. You've got to have some kind of respect. I mean, yes, they're celebrities. Yes, they're public figures. But that don't mean that every time you hold out your kid, they've got to be at your beck and call. Like that's the thing I don't understand. It's like, what you don't like kid like Dom. Dom pulled up and they were there trying because all the kids went and Dom being Dom and his character just went away and they're like, oh, you don't like the kids? Dom's against the kids? It's like,
I did
really?
see that.
Is that what we're because he doesn't go over there and sign something that you're probably gonna take from your kid and put it on eBay to make money on it. Now
Well,
they're the bad guys?
well, did you see Booker T? Booker T got on and spoke about this too. That last year he was followed to the bathroom and recorded in the bathroom, and then afterwards this year he got bombarded again, and one of the guys said that he was suffering from autism. That way he could get a photo and a signature. Because I think Booker T suffers of autism as well a little bit or something like that. They had like a
Well, no, he
reference.
probably. I mean, no, I know Booker. Booker's a cool dude like that. He probably just, like he does that for people that like. Again, I don't know if he does or doesn't, but I know that he is very. At least the parts that I've heard of him, when usually like there's something an issue or whatever it is, he takes the time out to be with that person there. So I can believe it, man. That's the problem, man.
And then there was also the
Like,
Royce Keys incident. Royce Keys also had an altercation with a fan, I think at his hotel, and he was telling him, "Yo, like chill out, bro. Like it's just too extreme, Sean. Too extreme to the point where it's getting out of hand, and then it gives the wrestler a bad look because, like Booker
It
did
doesn't.
mention,
It doesn't give the. I mean, look to the
it does
people
give
that.
the
No,
wrestler a
no,
bad
but
look.
but to the people that don't understand the situation, which are the people that are just as bad as the other people, then you look at the wrestler in the wrong. I don't look at them as in the wrong. If you come up to me when I'm eating at dinner and you stick something in my face and tell me to sign it, no, I'm here with my family. I'm eating. Catch me at the airport and everything else. Like, no, I do autograph signings. I do meet and greets. I put myself out there. Just because you don't want to spend the time and go to a meet and greet or whatever, you're going to catch me in the airport. You're going to catch me after getting off a 6-hour flight. Like, man, dude, no. Enough's enough with this stuff. To be honest, if I was WWE, I would put out a statement that they have told all wrestlers they are not allowed to sign anything
That's a great idea, Sean.
outside of WWE events. They can't sign anything or take pictures.
That is
I
that
would
is
put that
that
out
is
and
awesome.
just put it to rest. Done.
Yes, yes, very good. That is a very good thing to do. Just put it out there, or let them know, or put something out there saying, "Hey, look, the wrestlers are not able to sign, or if you go ahead and stalk the wrestlers, or
I mean, you can't
do
control the
anything crazy."
stalking part of it. You can do whatever, but again, I would put out there that we have told the wrestlers they are not allowed to, I don't know what's the right word, to act in any way with fans, doing pictures, signing autographs outside of WWE mandated shows or events. Done.
Yeah, man. I think that's the right thing to do,
Done.
and I think that would chill. That would make the fans kind of chill, at least with the WWE
Well,
side.
you're still gonna have your crazies that are gonna do
Yeah,
whatever,
of
man.
course, but at
That's the
least
thing.
at least you kind of, I feel like people will kind of slow down because I feel that the
Well,
problem
you
is
take
it's
it off of the
too
wrestler to
excessive right now.
where if they want to be, again, some of them do it because, dude, look, I just had 8 hours of media 2 days last week. Then I wrestled. Then I had WWE Access or WWE World, and now you want to catch me at the airport to sign more autograph? Like I've been doing all this all week long.
Hmm.
But you want to catch me at the airport because it's convenient for you. No, no, I'm not signing it. I would no. Film me all you want. I'm not signing it. I'm in the. You're not in the wrestlers are not in the wrong, dude. They don't have to sign it because you stuck a thing out there, or you handed it to the kid to hand it to them to get signed. Like, no kid says, "Hey, I'm gonna get a signed action figure still in the box." What kid do you know that keeps an action figure in the box?
That is
None.
true.
As soon as a kid gets anything, they open it up. They rip it open.
Well, here's something I just found out. So look, it says according to Fightful Select, fan interactions at hotels became a major talking point internally, with wrestlers and staff raising concerns about safety and privacy as autograph seekers and fans crowded shared spaces throughout the weekend. Several talents reportedly summed up the situation with a blunt reaction that quickly spread backstage. What security? It says even though WWE typically handles hotel accommodations during major events, some wrestlers reportedly chose to stay elsewhere just to avoid fan crowds. A move that created travel complications but offered more privacy. Wow. Um, it says other situations involve Seth Rollins nudging a fan who stepped into his path while he and Becky Lynch exited their room. Sean Waltman dealing with his own fan-related issue during the weekend. One veteran wrestler pointed to a tactic some fans allegedly used to pressure talent into signing out, explaining how uncomfortable the situation can become. This is what he says. A lot of fans use their kids to get us to sign things, a former WWE champion said. If we don't, they put phones in our face and they try to guilt trip us. Another WWE star reportedly said, it's WrestleMania and there are wrestling fans in town. What do people expect? And that's exactly what you were saying, Sean. And then the last thing, the last two things that they mentioned is I think we should be allowed to super kick one annoying fan a day. Another one said, it's Vegas. We were effed from the beginning. One prominent woman's talent said, WWE never actually prearranges good security. It's like they wait until shit happens, then they do damage control or add security. We love the personnel security teams, and they did as much as they could, but hotel security was busy taking care of the problems you already had in Las Vegas, which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. So yeah, it's a common theme, and it was really bad in Vegas. It's sad, man. It's sad. I didn't even know about the whole Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch
Nah, I didn't know about
situation.
that
So,
one. I didn't hear
so
about that one.
that one's new to me. So
No, I
yeah,
heard a lot of stuff at the WrestleCon was just, I mean, again, people are like, oh, I'm not paying that, and then all of a sudden you get them with their kid, and it's like, oh, he's your favorite. He loves you. He loves everything you do. Okay, sir. Tell me one match that he saw of mine. Tell me how much he loves me.
yeah, they guilt trip him, bro. Yeah.
It's just like, man, like, and Eric said it best, man. I mean, he was 100% in the right, dude. That's the thing, man. And again, and a lot of people look at it and be like, oh, the wrestlers are just being dicks by saying no. But at some point, you got to say, you know what? I'm not signing anything for anybody because if I sign one, then I get bombarded by everybody.
No, I think you nailed it. You nailed it. They need to sign and do all that stuff during the walls of like they're in the WWE, right? Like when you have the autographs, when you pay for this stuff and all
Yeah, they had the Charlotte and Alexa had a thing at like a Walmart or so. It was a store. I don't know what exactly it was. Julia and another signing somewhere else. Otis and them did the Boys and Girls Club. Jordan Grace and some others were at a pet adoption thing where they signed autographs for anybody out there and trying to get pets adopted. There was things all weekend long to where you could have gone. And WWE World had set times that, again, I get it. You have to pay for it. But again, if you're going to try to make money off some of this stuff, what is 40, 50 bucks? I mean, yeah, you go get one autograph or whatever, but again, if you're going to turn around and sell it for, I mean, what WWE selling shit for $7,500 on their website, a belt, and stuff like that, and yeah, Stephanie Victor was a couple weeks. That was the last, I think, PLE overseas that they did. There was the issue there because they didn't have security and some of the talent was getting up early to go do stuff and run around and look at the sites, and then they were getting bombarded. They end up having to have, security with each of them because, and again, it does do a little bit, and this is the problem too, is when they do the international tours, it becomes a thing because it's the only time they go over there. They may do the international tour once a year or twice a year, depending on where it is. So but they also do signings as well over there too. So you get an opportunity. If you don't take advantage of it, then you know what? Then don't sit there and complain about it, man. Just
Yep.
and to me, unless the wrestler lays a hand on somebody, like there was an incident with Vito. I don't know if you saw that one at WrestleCon. The guy was doing like I looked like the guy was drunk or something else, but he kept doing, he bumped into Vito and like all this stuff. And then I don't know if this was set up for something that they're doing down the line, but they got into a shoving match where they're just kind of walking around, and then Vito ended up putting him on the table and was like, "Dude, you need to get out of here." And then they got the guy out and things like that. And man, like I remember, the one thing that I remember being told about the territory days, and I was not around there at any time, but people didn't really, we lined up. I remember as a kid, I'd go to San Francisco Theater, Miami Beach Convention Center. They had a rope there, and you could be there, and guys would walk over and sign some autographs real quick on the way to the locker room or whatever, and that was it. And you go away, and then they'd be like, "Hey, during intermission, so-and-so," kind of like what indie events do now. So-and-so will be at the table, and this and that. And then you could catch a couple guys that were kind of trying to leave early, and you could get them or something like that. But it was just like, "Sir, can I have your autograph?" "No." "Okay, no problem." Boom. And you go. It's like, I don't see what the hounding part of this is. And again, I get it. We didn't have video phones back then, so I couldn't be like, "Oh, this guy's a jackass," or whatever. Maybe it changes things. But that also becomes content for a lot of these guys when they post it, and then everybody bashes the wrestler. Well, what if that was you with the phone stuck in your face? And you're just walking around, like, I get it. Our lives are normal. So nobody's going to stop me at dinner and ask me for an autograph or anything like that, But that doesn't give you the right to just jump into somebody else's, private life when they're not wrestling. Again, that's the part that I just, like, if you want to walk up and be like, "Sir, sorry for interrupting your dinner, wait for a time or something," you take that chance maybe. And if they say yes, they say yes. They say no, then you leave them alone. But that doesn't happen. You say no, then what do? They go outside and they got their phone, and then they got kids lined up and they're waiting for you outside the restaurant. And it goes on even further, man. So until somebody, and I go back to the territory days, because one of the things was a lot of times the heels would leave the town and go like drink somewhere else, because if you drank in the area you were in and somebody tested you, you would have to whoop their ass.
Yeah.
Because you're the heel.
Yeah.
You're a heel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's almost where, like, in a way, like, I feel like some people just need to get their ass whooped. And then, again, I get it, different time, but like, it's not going to stop. And I think even if WWE does do the statement, it doesn't stop. But at least I feel like at least then they've taken a step, though, to help the talent out, because the talent's in a no-win situation. You say no, and then you're the bad person. You say yes, and then you're going to be there for 4 hours signing stuff.
All right, one last thing before we jump. I just want to add this topic in before we jump into the AEW side. Because the reason I want to bring it is because we kind of spoke about it a little bit, and we didn't get your full details, and I want to kind of voice a little bit my opinion on it. And I didn't write it on the list, so this is going to come as different.
Oh, way to go.
So sorry about that, Sean, but it's the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why, because we had some controversy in the Hall of Fame. So let me run down a little bit. Obviously, the Hall of Fame involved the immortal moment, which was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. You had the legacy people, which was Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown. You had the celebrity, Dennis Rodman. You had obviously a tag team group, or Demolition. And then the two big ones out there, obviously Stephanie McMahon and AJ Styles. So let me get your opinion, Sean. What did you think about the Hall of Fame? Did you watch it? And Did you hear about the the couple complaints some people were saying about the Hall of Fame?
I've not watched the whole thing. Um, Again, the Hall of Fame is there to honor. There's no that the one thing I think, and I wish WWE would do, is build an actual. But again, it's not like everybody's gonna go there and see it or whatever. But I feel like there's like they need to put a building to where all of this stuff is kind of there for fans to go and see. But uh man, I know what the issues were, and it's tough for me to say because again, um
You didn't watch the whole show.
well, no, I didn't watch the whole show, but I know what the one issue was about Sid Vicious and them where they showed the legacy out there. So I went back to look, at least the last couple, the legacies was the same way. They didn't come up and do a speech or anything like that. And then also um, on the Facebook post I saw, and again, I know it's Facebook, so take it for whatever it was. He understood that the fans wouldn't want to hear him talk, so they thought the video package was the best way to go, anyways. But again, I don't know all that. Like, you want to have a shirt made for them and merchandise and things like that. But part of the problem with this whole thing is I didn't think Sid Vicious would ever make it into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I really
I
didn't
mean,
think he was gonna
I
make
went.
it.
I just went in like, here it is. Like, so, issues and events. 92 departure and drug test. After headlining WrestleMania 7, Sid left the company, poorly failed a drug test. Instead of serving a subsequent suspension after European tour, he quit. During his 92 run, Sid was booked the feud with the Ultimate Warrior, disliked working with them, objecting to the Warrior kicking out of the powerbomb finish. He's upset by the backstage politics surrounding Hulk Hogan and fan reaction to them, telling Vince McMahon he could not work in an environment where men behave like women. He had the incident with Arn Anderson where they stabbed each other. Um, he left companies over and over. And like,
I think the
and
only
I,
reason I think the only reason they kind of threw him back in there was because of he did have a part in WCW, and then obviously WWE owns it. So I guess they felt,
yeah,
hey, he was a big part in WCW. So
and honestly, the legacy thing is for wrestlers that have passed away.
that
It's
well,
like
yes.
a what is it, posthumous honor type thing. So after a while, it's like, okay, boom, and again, they don't really discuss the thing. They show the family, they give the rings, they do all that, but it's just a package.
But
So
let me ask you this: with all the commercials that they're putting, you don't think for the legacy, bringing the family at least to say their 2 cents. Nothing like Stephanie, like Bounce was saying that they Stephanie talks for like about an hour, but can they at least the family say something and be like, hey, look, we're grateful that you guys had Sid added into the Hall of Fame, and same thing with Bad News Brown. Instead of just going ahead and saying, "Hey, they're in the Hall of Fame. There's their family. Let's give them a big round of applause, and that's it." Do you think that they should get at least 5 minutes of spotlight, especially since Stephanie McMahon's, her whole package was like about an hour. I'm not gonna lie, she spoke for a while.
no,
Damn, really?
yeah.
I don't know, man. Let me ask you this, because
I mean,
you've been to
again,
the Hall of Fame of the
here's
NFL.
the thing. Here's the
Everybody who
thing,
got
though.
inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, they always say something, right?
Yeah, but they also only induct four and five guys. And there's two from the what is it? How do they word it? There's like two that have been on the first, like not the first ballot, but the original ballot for 10 years.
Okay.
Then after that, they're moved to a different one where they select two guys, and then they usually take a coach or an announcer or something like that. But they also have other awards during that, but those guys don't talk.
But when they've
They have a
inducted,
separate thing for those guys.
I'm pretty sure they induct some of the Hall of Famers in baseball as well that have passed away, right? They've done that. Do they have the families and all that stuff talking in those Hall of Fame speeches or no?
But again, they're actually in the Hall of Fame. They're not in the legacy wing of the Hall of Fame. They're not in the like
But the
the
Hall of
announcers.
Fame, it's all the same.
No, in Canton, Ohio, only the players
Okay.
speak. That's it.
Okay. But what about baseball? Is baseball the same way?
I don't know about baseball. I never know baseball. It's baseball. Baseball.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
again, man, I'm like, but the whole thing is like I'm trying to see right here, and I typed it in wrong.
What else, CN Dump? Where's our hair? Oh, we both lost our hair years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, look, giving them 5 minutes won't hurt anybody. That's how I look at it, especially if they're talking for such a long time. So that's why I felt maybe I don't know if you guys who watch sports. I'm pretty sure you guys tune into sports a lot. If you guys listen to the Hall of Fame in the NFL or in baseball or even I don't even know if basketball has like a Hall of Fame that is ever introduced to the fans.
Here
Is
it
there
goes. Here it goes.
do
Look,
people talk?
for the legacy class, these inductees frequently honored posthumously. The purpose of the legacy class acts as a way for WWE to honor historic figures who may not be marketable or well known to modern audiences or for whom there is limited footage. The ceremony format. Unlike main inductees, legacy members are usually honored via collective video package, although families are sometimes recognized, which they were. They showed them in the audience.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well
I
then
mean, for instance, last year, Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff went in. I heard no speeches from any of their families.
no, I don't remember hearing any speeches from their families either. You're right. I mean, but maybe just because it hasn't happened, there could always be change. Give them 5 minutes. I do feel like they should get a little bit of a maybe let them say something if they want to say something. Give them that option. If they don't, then they just do the video.
But Frankie, dude, you're not listening to Sid. You're listening to his kid.
It's the respect that you have for him, though, for that wrestler. And he's not gonna talk for an hour. He's just gonna say 5 minutes. Give him the kudos that it is.
Okay, so you give him 5 minutes and he starts going and he's 10 minutes in. You start playing the music? Because once you give him a live mic, what do?
That's a good point.
If they give you the big FU, what are you going to do? Tackle me? You're going to take me out here in front of the live audience?
Well, then you know what they could do? Instead of having them be all the way in the front in the podium, they could have somebody. You know how they're shitting on the crowd. You could just have an announcer, whoever's hosting it, the Miz, who's usually the one hosting, come up to them, be like, "Hey, is there any kind words you would like to say to the WWE fans since Sid Vicious just became a Hall of Famer?" And then he kind of controls it. Okay, blase, blase. Okay, perfect. And then he could remove the microphone from him. That's what I think they could do.
Then how much of an ass does WWE look if you got a member of the family talking about a dead relative that had a history in pro wrestling and they're yanking the microphone?
Not yanking the microphone, but giving them the opportunity to say 2 words. That's just what Sid Vicious' family was complaining about. They felt disrespected. They felt like, yo, we didn't get a chance to
felt disrespected because there was no merchandise.
Oh, that too. That was another reason too.
Yes.
That was another reason too. Yeah, because they said that they had like 20,000 things for Dennis Rodman and nothing from him. Yeah. You're right about
Dennis
that.
Rodman had a crap load of stuff in WCW. All they did was brought back the Dennis Rodman WCW stuff. That's all they did. Sid wasn't around places to be getting merchandise long enough. I love him to death. I thought he was a badass. But
he was.
Again, when you're jumping here and there, here and there, here and there, you don't get a lot of merchandise.
That's true. Now, I will say this. I did watch it. I did listen to Stephanie McMahon. I think one of the things that I wish Stephanie... Look, we got to stop... And it gets... I don't know how much liberty she has to talk about this, or if maybe she just feels like she doesn't have to address it as much. And we got also this from Triple H when he got inducted. they give us a little bit of Vince McMahon. That's all. But dude, this is your father. And yes, he has a bad reputation. Maybe her relationship with her father has gotten worse. Maybe that's why she didn't bring him up as much.
It was bad before. Remember, she left when he
Yes.
came back.
I
I
understand that.
mean, there's a lot more involved in
And
this.
she didn't she did bring up her brother. She mentioned her brother as well, but very, very little. Obviously, there's some heat. There's some dislike there or something. They're not in sync right now when it comes to them because she didn't mention them. If it's my brother, I would be mentioning even if I was upset. And same goes with my sister. But I just feel like these guys, like Triple H and Stephanie, are such big, huge parts of the wrestling world, and they're not there if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. And even if you have to, I understand that they're upset. I mean, at least they did mention his name, I guess, because Hulk Hogan's wife. I'm sorry, Hulk Hogan's wife. Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke. She is Brooke, right? Brooke Hogan, I think
Yeah.
is her name. She doesn't even talk about her father anymore, and
Yeah.
even when he passed away, it took her a while before she actually said something about him. But I don't know, man. I just feel like you got to pay respect to your elders, man. And I know Triple H doesn't have to go into too much detail, but man, I wish Stephanie would have said something more about her father. She told her story of how she was a little kid and all her experiences. Her experience that I think she was like 14 or 15 years old. She went out to eat on the dinner with Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant joked around saying, "I think everybody in this restaurant is gonna think I'm a pedophile for going out with a 14-year-old." And it was just that was the kind of like the connection, the way she loved wrestling. She really enjoyed just hanging out. She mentioned about her birthdays and everything was with the Macho Man Randy Savage and all these people, and then obviously from the moment that she got into the business and then transformed, and she always said she wanted to be part of the business and all that stuff, and I like the fact that she did do her Stephanie McMahon transformation. Like at the end, she went ahead and she transformed into Stephanie McMahon and did that. But I just felt she should have said a little bit more about her father. Like I don't know, it's just me. I haven't had a bad relationship with my father. I love my father, so maybe I can't speak for her, but I definitely feel like she's not there because if it wasn't for her father, whether she liked it or not, but he made her. He got her. Like she was invested in all wrestling because of her father. She met her husband, and she has 3 beautiful daughters because in reality, all because of Vince McMahon in a way. So
Yeah,
it's
but you
like
don't have to get like down in the nitty gritty and what and
I just wanted her
I
to. I
thank my
just want.
father Vince McMahon and
Yeah,
we're
man. I
done
wish it would have. I
and
think
roll
she.
off of. But I
Nah,
mean,
man. I felt like she should have said more. That's just me though.
why what? I
Because it's
mean,
her father. You
there's
pay
not a good
respect and you
relationship there though, bro.
yeah, but look, man, I don't think look, he didn't I don't want to say certain things that could like backlash on me. I just feel you have to pay respect to your elders, and her father was a key
Did she
reason
mention
why
him? Did she mention him?
she did mention him, yes.
There you go.
She did. Well, did she mention it? Because she mentioned a lot her mother, because her mother was
Yeah.
there, inducted her. Her 3 daughters. Men- you know what? I don't recall. Guys, if you guys saw the Hall of Fame, let me know if you guys saw. I don't think she mentioned them. I don't think she did mention them because that.
Did she
And
say I want to thank my father and not say Vince McMahon?
well, there was
Maybe.
she did. I think she did say something like that because that's when the fans started cheering Vince.
Yeah.
That's when they started cheering
Yeah.
Vince. But besides that, I think that was the only time. But I think that was the only thing. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like Demolition's Hall of Fame speech was really good. I thought they didn't say too much, but they were right to the point, and they gave kudos to Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji was his name?
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Fuji. I remember Mr. Fuji. So Mr. Fuji. So it was cool, and a lot of people who know old school wrestling remember Mr. Fuji. He was part of them for a big reason. They actually said that Demolition they owe it to Mr. Fuji because he was the one who kind of held them together. So it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't crazy. A little bit surprised that they didn't come out the second night of WrestleMania. So that was a little bit of a shocker to me, man.
Well,
I don't know why.
I think they didn't come out the second night because of all the stuff that was said. Because all that
What do you
broke
mean?
after night one. The whole Sid family thing broke after night one.
Damn. So you think they cut it off because of that?
Well, I think if you're not going to have somebody there, I mean, you're not going to have a spot there and no family, right? Because they probably didn't want to come back.
No. And the other, and then the awkward, the awkward kind of um speech from Dennis Rodman was kind of weird. I don't even know why they inducted Dennis Rodman. That was kind of weird. Like I guess it's
That's the
because they thought,
celebrity thing. That's what they always do. There's always celebrity there.
yeah, but he had like no ties to WWE. It was all WCW, so that's why I was a little bit awkward about that. But I mean, whatever. He got his kudos. He was out there. He was doing
It's
his thing.
Vegas. It's Rodman. That's it.
Yeah.
Because remember, he had he left the Bulls twice during the playoffs.
Yeah.
Once to go to Vegas, and once to go to WCW Nitro.
Yeah, that's some of the stuff. He didn't care about the Bulls. He cared about wrestling over his own. What was paying his check, right? What was
Yep.
paying him, bro? That's insane. All right, let's go and jump ship over to AEW, right? So hopefully we get was it Wilson? Wilson? Is it Wilson? Yeah, hopefully Wilson jumps back on. So let's talk about this controversy, Sean. Come on, man. Explain to me
controversy.
how in the hell is it that Darby Allin, right before WrestleMania, wins over MJF? Explain to me how that makes any logical sense.
The only thing I can say it was in his hometown. Look, I love Darby Allin. I didn't buy him as a wrestler until he did the feud. I think it was with Cody. And then I was like, okay, this guy can go. But I don't think, and I get, dude, is ride or die AEW. I get all that. But like to me, and again, I get all of the way everything played out with him and MJF and the pin and the way that, and it went all the way back to their independent days when they wrestled each other. You know, like I get the story and everything, but this is where sometimes I feel like Tony is still independent level. Like, it was a great feel-good moment for Darby to win it in his hometown and beat MJF. But, and again, I don't think it hurts MJF whatsoever.
It hurts MJF. Of course it does.
No, I don't think it does because, again, he went on right afterwards and was like, oh, we got to talk, Tony. Because he pulled up not knowing he had a match. You know, like, it's kind of dumb the storyline what he did because Darby said he was going to have a match for the title the week before, but then Max pulled up the night of and was like, I got a match. Oh, you're the only heavyweight champion we have, right? I mean, I thought he would know, but, you know, again, they do that way. But to me, and again, when I say didn't hurt MJF, because MJF's strong as it is, but to me, you hurt the title. To me, you hurt the title taking off MJF and putting it on Darby Allin.
How are you hurting the title? The title's the title.
Darby is not a reflection of AEW, bro.
That's why he should have never won in the first place.
Thank you. He brought the title down. The
But-
title is here, and now it's on Darby, and it's back down here. MJF made that title mean more than most people wearing that belt do. To be honest, even when Hangman Page
I think
had
you're
the
giving him
belt,
too much credit. I think you're giving him too much credit. He's
No,
very good, but remember, the wrestler MJF is very good. We all know that, but at the end of the day, you gotta work hard for that.
Wait a minute. Don't I remember a certain show you were on talking AEW versus WWE, and the argument that you had was who in WWE is like MJF?
Correct.
Oh, and now you're gonna say he didn't make the belt?
No, because you just finished saying you yourself just finished saying that he himself, it didn't hurt him because how good MJF is.
Yes.
And to a certain extent, you're right, but I still feel you're hurting your champion. You're hurting MJF.
He's no longer
Just
the
finished.
champion.
He
You
just
hurt the championship belt. Is
you
what
just
you hurt.
you just had
You
MJF.
dirtied it. You dirtied the belt. You dirtied it.
You had him go and have this hell of a fight with Kenny Omega. He beats Kenny Omega and then loses to Darby Allin. What are you doing with MJF?
You hurt Kenny Omega more than you hurt MJF.
You also hurt Kenny Omega on that because it makes no logical sense why Darby won anything. And then the problem is, They celebrated. I think Tony did this just to get a wow moment, bro. That's what it is because
Yeah, he wanted Sting back in the fold.
This was him.
This was him getting Sting
Yeah,
in the fold.
then he brings old ass Sting, and the crazy thing is, I think he also just wanted to get like a wow. He wanted people to be talking to AEW because we were heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah, but
it's stupid.
Nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it.
People talked about it. People
They
talked
talked,
about
but not for the reasons you wanted people to
not
talk
the good
about it.
No. Well, they were talking about like who have now been the champions of AEW. So
Yeah, I think he's the 11th champion.
is he the 11th? I don't know if he's the 11th. I mean, so you had Chris Jericho, you got Hangman Page, you have Samoa Joe, you had Swerve, you had MJF. I think he was 7, man. Did I say Kenny Omega? I don't remember if I said Kenny Omega. And I think Darby is 7th, right? Is there more? I think those are the 7 guys that have won the belt. There was a post that I saw. Let me see if I took a photo of it because I think
7 guys have had it, but there's been 11 title reigns, is what I think it was.
Oh, okay. Because that might be the possibility. Because I remember seeing something.
I think Swerve had it twice. MJF had it twice.
Hangman must have had it like 3 times. Because I know Hangman. They always go with Hangman. Moxley's another one that's had the belt. That's another guy who's also. So maybe there is more than 7. So I'm trying. Okay, let me write these down. So you got Swerve, you got MJF, you got Moxley, you got Hangman, you got Kenny, Samoa Joe, and now Darby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's it. I think it's those 7 guys that have won it.
Yeah, I think it's the 7 guys. And I think there's been 11 title reigns, is what I saw. I believe.
CM Punk never won it, right? No. Oh, did CM Punk win it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, so CM Punk is on there. Did Cody ever win it?
Right. Hold on a minute.
I don't
or
think
did he just take the title from somebody? And
I think he took the title, wasn't it?
Hold on a minute.
I don't think CM Punk ever won the AEW title. I remember he was upset and he had it in that. He carried it on Collision a couple of times, but I don't remember him. I don't think he's had the AEW belt. You know what? The best way to do it: AEW champions.
I'm looking up right now. World Championship history. Here we go. You ready?
Go for it.
All right, hold on a minute. Get all the way down to the bottom. All right. Here we go. Chris Jericho was the first one.
Okay, we got that one.
John Moxley the second. Kenny Omega the third. Hangman Page the fourth. CM Punk the fifth.
Okay.
John Moxley the sixth.
CM Punk won it again.
I'm sorry. John Moxley was the interim champion. Then John Moxley actually won the match to be the champion.
Yeah.
Then CM Punk won it again. Then Moxley won it again. Then MJF won it. Then Samoa Joe won it.
Bryan Danielson.
Then Swerve won it. Bryan Danielson won it. John Moxley won it. Adam Page won it. Samoa Joe won it. MJF won it. Darby Allin wins it.
So it's been 10. 10 guys that have won it. In a way.
10. Okay, that's what it was. 10 then.
Okay, cool.
No, Cody never won the heavyweight title.
That's insane.
The first week the first pay-per-view of actual AEW, he lost a match to where he could never challenge for the heavyweight title as long as he was in AEW because MJF turned on him, and that's when MJF became the heel. Because before that, he was a babyface.
And that's why he became the TNT champion for a while.
Yeah, he was the TNT champion. Yeah.
But overall, when you look at that list of champions, John Moxley, he could be a champ. MJF, he could be a champ. Kenny Omega, he could be a champ. Adam Page, he could be. Chris Jericho, Samoa Joe, Swerve, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin. I don't know, man. It just feels a little bit.
I like him as a wrestler, but I feel like you're pushing it as a heavyweight champion.
Well, now, so I feel
again, as AEW, Darby could be a champion on the indies to me. Again, not taking anything away from Darby. Hell of a wrestler, does crazy ass shit that I would never touch, never do, never anything. But does he to me, he doesn't elevate AEW as much as an MJF elevates AEW.
I agree.
That's my problem with what they did here. Great moment. Sting comes out. The moment before I thought was pretty cool. When Sting sees him, he's like, "It's showtime." He goes, "No, no, no, no. It's your time."
Yeah, you
Like, I
would.
thought that was a pretty damn cool moment
would.
there,
You would like that corny stuff. Yeah, of course you would.
Well, no, but again, I like the entertainment on TV. I'm not all about the damn get out there and have a match. I know these guys can go inside the ropes, but it's those little things. But to me, he never should have won. And we talked about it. We knew that it happened in his hometown. He was going to win it, but we were hoping it wasn't going to happen. But
he could have lost. I mean, they just gave Chris Jericho and freaking Cope and Cage had both lost in Canada.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna give it to giving me that excuse that Swerve. I'm sorry
Dude,
that
Darby Allin
Darby deserved it. No,
I told you already. Darby Allin is Tony Khan's Brock Lesnar. In case of emergency, break glass, bring in Darby. I don't know what it is. He's a crazy mofo. I mean, he's jumping cars into buses. He's climbing Mount Everest and putting a AEW flag at the top. I mean,
you know what?
Good.
It makes sense why he gave it to him now.
But to me, he is not a face that can run the place. But it does make up some interesting matches with Darby now, though, because
we're gonna talk about that.
And, yeah, I mean,
we have that in the topic. No, but before we talk about his opponents, Oscar's asking us, are you guys gonna go to Collision in West Palm in May? Sean, are we going to West Palm in May?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We
can go up there
and maybe meet Adrian and head up there.
You know what? When is this AEW Collision?
May, is it May 8? What is it? It's at damn it. I remember we were talking about it before.
Yeah, we did. It was at that golf area that they're going to do it. Adrian, talk to me, man. You know the date you mentioned. I think it was May 19th. Was it May 20th? May 9th. Oh, that's right around the corner.
Wait a minute. What else is May 9th?
Why is something
I
more?
can't. I got a show that day.
That's why I was like, what else is going on there? Well, I don't have a show on May 9th. What May 9th is what day is
Saturday.
that?
Saturday.
Oh. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me look at my calendar. If I look at my calendar here, May 9th, I don't have anything. All right, so we'll do this. Adrian, if you want to go to an AEW, Oscar, if you are in town as well, or I don't know if Oscar, if you're local as well, if you want to go to AEW Collision, I will close my May 9th day just to go with you guys to Collision. And I'll go with you guys. I'll drive to West Palm. It's a hell of a drive for me, but I've done it before because my friend used to live in West Palm before he moved to Georgia, and then he moved now to Mississippi. I don't know why he moved to Mississippi. Don't ask me because I think Mississippi sucks. But anyways, if you guys want to go, I will go. I'll definitely. Never mind. Backlash is that night. Oh, really? Backlash is the May 9th?
Yeah, May 9th. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why would they have a Collision the same day as Backlash?
It's because it's AEW.
Jesus, that's so dumb, man. Like, come on, dude. And you know what the crazy thing about WWE is that WWE and AEW always do this crap, because when we went to Orlando, not this past year, but the year before, me and Memo went to Orlando. We went to the AEW pay-per-view, and WWE was in Orlando as well, having like an in-house show. And it was like all the AEW fans against all the WWE fans, because they had the in-house and then they had the freaking pay-per-view. So it's like, this is so childish between these two companies sometimes, bro. It's so stupid. Yeah. So, or we could go to Backlash, but I mean, do you guys want to go to Tampa? Like, I would look, if you guys want to go to either one of them, I'm down. Just let me know, and you gotta tell me a yes or no, because I'm gonna be driving the hell if I go all the way to freaking Tampa. But if you guys want to go, I'll make the ride. I'll do it for you guys, and we could do a bros night out there, either in Tampa or in West Palm, whatever you guys prefer. If you're down, because Tampa's not that far away from me actually either, so it's not that far. But going back to the topic, MJF obviously Darby upsetting MJF. Now all of a sudden in that Dynamite, you had a couple people all of a sudden start mentioning their possibility of wanting to challenge the winner, because at that time they had not wrestled, but they were saying, hey, we want a shot at the title. And some of the guys that came up was Kevin Knight, and there was another one by the name of Ciampa, who were both also kind of taking their shots at the heavyweight belt. Now that we know that Darby Allin is the champion, Sean, who should get the next shot at Darby Allin?
I mean, it ain't got to be a superstar anymore, right? Because a superstar don't have a belt. So you could do a Ciampa. You could do Kevin Knight. You could do Speedball Bailey. You can do.
Oh my gosh.
You've opened it up to allow a whole host of great matches that you can have for the heavyweight title. Honestly, I mean,
and the sad thing about
and
it,
again, I'm not saying that any of these guys are bad. I'm not saying any of these guys are bad, but you could see Kevin Knight beating Darby. You could see Ciampa beating Darby. You could see this happen, and that's where, again, Darby to me could be a champion on the indie levels when you're talking AEW, WWE. He's a TNT champion. He's the Continental champion, whatever you want to do. But to me, Okada should get the belt before Darby Allin got the belt.
Hell yeah. Oh, dang, man.
That's
Okada, Will Ospreay.
Yes.
Those guys deserve it. I'm not going to say deserve it.
I get that Darby's been day one, ride or die AEW, and this is probably here you go, thank you very much. It happens all the time. I get that. But you just had a pay-per-view the Sunday prior. MJF beat Kenny Omega. And then he pulls up in Washington and got beat rather quickly, I believe, with Darby. So,
I mean, there was that championship. I'm trying to look it up because I don't remember what year it was, where you had the four-way, where it was Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, MJF, and there was somebody else. I forgot who it was.
Come on, man. Don't tell me you forgot the Jungle Boy.
Jesus Christ.
The pillars, the four pillars of the
four
AEW.
pillars. There you go, the four pillars. And who ended up winning that match? Wasn't it MJF? I think MJF was the one who ended up winning that.
Yeah, I think MJF won it. Yeah.
So, dude, come on, man. You're gonna give us this. I'm starting to think that how can you headline Darby Allin in a pay-per-view? He has to lose it in a Dynamite. You have to lose it in a Dynamite or a Collision, man. I just don't get it. And then, like you said, disrespect, man. And yes, you're right. But look, all right, let me ask you this. Is there if he wanted to do this, can Darby Allin ever get to the same level as Bryan Danielson? Because Bryan Danielson, nobody ever thought that he would be a heavyweight champion when he was in WWE, but they built him there.
Well, it organically happened, and then they just put the machine behind him once the Yes Movement started. I mean, again, Darby has a little cult-like following, but AEW's not as big as what WWE was, to where you could start small, and then all of a sudden you got 50,000 people saying yes. And then you make them feel a part of the movement. And then you take Daniel Bryan, and not only are they telling you you're too small, you're a B-plus guy, which, again, they started that with Sami Zayn here recently, by the way. Just so you know, I think they're recreating that, but that's another story for another day. But you're not good enough. Then what did they do? They had the Authority try to hold him down. And Daniel Bryan, had to fight through everything. Then they did the whole Yes Movement, the Yes when they occupied Raw, with all the people with the Yes shirts, and they get in the ring, and Daniel Bryan's like, I want you at WrestleMania. And then Triple H is like, fine, we do the match. If you beat me, you go to the main event. If I win, then I'm in the main event. Daniel Bryan wins there. And then he gets the feel-good moment of there, and he was made at that moment, man. As soon as the people got behind him, that made him. If the Yes thing didn't pick up,
he would have never been.
He never would have been there.
But then why didn't AEW do something similar? Because the only reason the fans were going wild was because that was his hometown. But if that would have happened, let's say here in Florida, people would have been like, they would have been looking in the air like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
But then they've been like, oh boy.
a lot of people will be like, why did he beat MJF? It just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. So
Not only
it's
that,
just-
but he beats MJF, and they act like Darby's the biggest thing since, like, how many times have people won the title? Who's had the whole locker room empty out?
yes.
I mean,
Well,
I get it.
they were
I
giving
know
him his
Darby-
kudos, I guess.
Well, yeah, Darby is loved, and he's what I call you, Mr. AEW. That's what he is. But that doesn't mean that he should be the champion. That's my problem.
I mean,
I
if
just
you're
don't
gonna,
buy him headlining. If you put Darby against Swerve, Swerve's winning to me in a match. It's just anybody, not Kevin Knight, not Ciampa, not like there's so many
I
things
feel
wrong with this to me.
I feel that if you wanted to make this run for Darby and for him to win the belt, they should have made him over the top, kind of like what they did with the Yes movement. They could have done something better to lead up to this.
Think about this. If they started that here, MJF screws Darby in his hometown. The night he should have won the belt, MJF screwed him. You could have started it right here, worked back around.
Great
and the
storyline.
next time you're there, then you run it back. And
You could have
Darby
played it for a
wins
whole
this
year.
time. Yeah, because you can cheat them so many different ways.
Yeah.
And then you build it up and you see if, and again, I get it. I know a lot of the AEW fans love Darby because he does all the crazy shit, going through glass and all that stuff. But that don't make him a world champion.
Because they didn't know how to build him up correctly. Because the only people that are excited about him winning was his hometown. Like, everybody else is like, yo, what's up with this? Like, look, I mean, everybody can't wait to see Will Ospreay become the champion. Why? Because a lot of people are invested on him. A lot of people like him from his time outside of AEW and now what he's brought to the table. Darby has been a hell of a pillar for AEW, but like you said, you look at he could lose to Kevin Knight. He could lose to Speedball Bailey. Imagine if he did lose, he could lose to Orange Cassidy. like what is going on here? And now that you kind of mentioned it, you mentioned this. You mentioned this, saying that the belt they kind of like degraded the belt down. Now I'm starting to agree with you. You want to know why? Because this is not the first time they do this shit with the AEW belt. We had freaking John Moxley carry the stupid belt inside a briefcase for what, over almost a whole year, and we couldn't even see it. So it feels like they just doesn't make any sense. Like they really like just make that world heavyweight belt a hardcore belt and just call it a night, bro. Because you're right. I'm starting. You've convinced me. It's trash. Like they don't know what to do with it. It's bad.
Let's do this. Let's do this, okay? We're going to have an autograph signing, all right? And we're going to have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes from WWE. You're bringing Darby from AEW as the heavyweight champion.
Jesus. What an embarrassment. And I love Darby, but damn, dude.
No, I love him to death, but again,
Damn.
when you put the heavyweight title on somebody, and this is where, like, a lot of people used to be mad, especially in the territory days, that Ric Flair was always the champion. He was the champion because he was reliable, even though he partied and everything else. But he was reliable, and he could go, and he could make people look good, and people made him look good, and whatever. But he represented the title. He's dressed he's dressed Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about Darby Allin showing up. Like, it literally is the Orange Cassidy. The belt's in a duffel bag, and he's skateboarding around, and like it just doesn't, to me. It doesn't say, number 2 wrestling company.
No.
That's all I'll say on it. That's my problem with it. Is that, look, Darby probably deserves it more than anybody else to be a champion, a heavyweight champion. I get all that. But at some point, you got to pull back and say, from the business standpoint, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because to me, it doesn't. And that's my problem with this decision.
I agree. All right, the last topic, also another controversial topic here, and it's the fact that Chris Jericho obviously is back. He brought the list back I thought this feud with Ricochet was a one-time thing, but it looks like they're gonna go ahead and continue it. And it looks like it's Ricochet and his boys. What do you think it's you know that Chris Jericho is the type of person who likes to go ahead and have different entourages, right? He's like one day he's the learning tree, the other day he's the inner circle, the other day he's you know all the other stuff that he likes to do. He brought the list. Is it time? And he did name drop, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sammy Guevara during one of his segments. Is it time for him to bring back the inner circle, sir?
I don't know if it the inner circle because you don't have the guys there anymore.
A new inner circle, sir.
I
A
mean,
new one.
maybe a newer one, but I would like to see him just. I'm trying to find. He supposedly put out a recent trademark.
He didn't put he didn't he's not gonna hit up Jake Hager. Jake Hager is too busy right now slapping people to victory, bro.
Yeah, so is Lance Anoa'i, by the way, and a Wah.
And
a Wah one too.
and Jake Hager saying F you to Tony Khan at the slap fest.
Yeah, he wishes that was Tony.
I thought that was a cheap win for Jake Hager too, man. On the side note. But good for him. He won. Good for him.
Oh, okay, here it is. Here is a
Trademark.
These are recent trademarks filed by Chris Jericho.
Jesus. How many trademarks does he have?
The Cornerstone,
Oh Lord.
the Educator, the Rarefied Air of Jericho. He reapplied for the Learning Tree. Duck Trillion,
What?
God of War, and the best one out there is the guy who gets his ass beat by the Demand every week that he shows up.
That was good. That was a good one. I like it.
I
That
love
one. That
that one.
was good. That was good. That was
Love that
good.
one. And that's for a comedic long phrase trademark for shirts, I'm guessing.
That one's good.
Yeah.
That one's good.
Yeah. No, I mean, ultimately, yeah, you would think. But here's the thing that I think what I would tease and the way I would do it is look at the way he treated everybody that he was with, right? He always, at some point, Jericho always was the focal point, right? He made himself the focal point of everything.
Yeah.
I would have him keep getting beat down and like trying to backstage talking to Sammy like, hey, let's get the band back together, whatever you want to do, however you want to word it,
Okay.
this and that. And Sammy be like, no, not what you did to me last time. No, this and that. Even go to, Big Bill and them.
Yeah,
like,
the
hey,
Learning Tree guys.
Let's get it back together. No. You left us hanging for a year. We were in limbo because of you. This and that. And then ultimately, at some point, he's getting beat down and then here they come. And you kind of have the inner circle, the Learning Tree, all of Jericho's people coming back. Jericho bringing them all back together under him. And this time he does it right and he gives them their kudos and makes it about them.
You know what?
Instead about himself.
Sean,
and he
man.
learned because he got his ass whooped so much.
A+ from you, sir. You always figure out ways to find the whole story and put it all together because I think that's great, dude. I really think that's kind of cool that he goes to Sammy. He has to go to Ring of Honor because Sammy's in Ring of Honor. Sammy tells him no. Like that would be so cool if he goes down to Ring of Honor. He's like, look, I'm stuck in Ring of Honor because of you, bro. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm not gonna
I
go.
was the Spanish god when I was with you. Now I'm on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a little bit too over. I mean, that would be taking a little bit of shot at Ring of Honor, but that's how Tony Khan treats Ring of Honor. And then he goes to the Learning Tree, and he does talk to the Bad Apple and all them, and the Bad Apple kind of like acts like a Bad Apple with him, which would be fucking amazing.
I'm no longer a bad apple. I'm a bounty hunter, or whatever. I'm like just do what their gimmicks are now. I'm no longer your little, whatever, the Bad Apple, whatever. No, I'm the bounty hunter. And then ultimately they got to make the decision of, are you going to help, because again, right now it's only 3 against 1. So really you'd only need Big Bill and the other guy to go. And then ultimately you add somebody to them and then you can bring in Guevara or whatever.
But that would be really good, Sean. Like, it would really get the fans into it again with Jericho. And I know, Eric, you said that he should have taken the WWE deal and just retired. Look, man, he proved to us this past pay-per-view that he could hang, bro. I liked him. And you know what? What Sean just said, it's a very good, solid storyline
And
where
also
you're
that way
elevating.
with that storyline that I just put out there, he doesn't have to wrestle every week. He just gets jumped in the back. He gets beat up during an interview. Whatever it is, he doesn't have to wrestle.
Oh,
You
know what would be good
only
too?
on PLEs when he's wrestling or pay-per-views or whatever. I don't need him wrestling every week. That's when he starts looking old.
You know what, Sean? That should also be part of the storyline. Make him look old. Make him look like he sucks.
Make him look like CM Punk against
Make him
Roman
look,
Reigns.
make him look old. Like, beat him down backstage, and then you'll see Sammy Guevara walk and just shake his head like, and then just keep walking. Go ahead
Or after they beat him down, he kind of crawls around and you see his hand go on a foot. And then you look up and it's Sammy Guevara looking down at him like, and then walk away.
Yes. When you see him going ahead and trying to do like I don't know, like the learning tree segment or something. Like, he brings a tree. There's a tree in the background or something like that, and then they whoop his ass again, and then all of a sudden you see Big Bill in the back and the bounty standing there, and you see face to face with Ricochet and his group, and then you just see Big Bill just walk away with the bounty hunter, and they both just walk away, teasing us. Hey, look, they're seeing Jericho get his ass kicked. He's too old. He doesn't have it anymore, and we're just letting him be. He deserves this treatment for the way he abandoned us. And just
He abandoned us, so we abandoned him.
Yeah, bro. So, dude, it's just it makes for good storylines. And you know what, Chris is a very good person to sell and do a really good job in his storyline. So I think this could work. I really like the Inner Circle. I thought that was his best part. I love that he brought back his old theme music and everything. That's what I really, really do enjoy about Chris Jericho. And he could still hang, but you're right. Just have him at the pay-per-views. And this is a good way for him to still be involved in the shows, but at the same time, not wrestle. You know, keep him away from the wrestling ring. Because if you keep him away from the wrestling ring, when he does go on the ring on those pay-per-views, he's gonna go and he's gonna hang and he's gonna do a hell of a job. Look at the layoff, bro. He went in with Ricochet. He had a hell of a fight, bro. It was really good.
And then plus, look, man, when you start seeing him do the lion salt every week and the code breaker, it's just normal now. It's like, oh, there's Jericho doing this. Now when you see it once a month or once every other month, now it means something. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, like, to me, I would just have him getting beat up. As soon as he gets to the arena, you jump him by his car or something. Just dump stuff. And then he comes in and his clothes are all tattered and he gets to do the interview and then he gets beat up again there or whatever it's going to be until you decide that, okay, now it's the time for someone to be like, okay, he's gotten beat up enough. Now we're going to help him. He's proved, whatever, or you have a match to where it's Big Bill and the Bounty Hunter against the Demand, and Ricochet gets involved, and here comes Jericho to help them. Instead of them always coming to help him, now he's coming to return the favor. But then you do the whole thing with the KO, Sami Zayn type stuff, right? Like, hey, I helped you guys. We're good. And then they turn around and leave. And you tease that for a couple weeks. And then ultimately, of course, you know what's going to happen. But you tease it for a while.
I mean, you could even bring back Action Andretti. I don't know if he's still signed with AEW, but he got over because of beating Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
So you could
hurt. I think he's hurt, but I think he's still there.
But you could still bring him over and you could still do some stuff with him, like be a long time. And maybe he gets desperate and he's like, yo, and he sees Action Andretti, like, I don't know, chilling in the back or something like that. He's like, oh, Action, I'm here. You made me. I made you, so I need your help now. And then Action Andretti just walks away, be like, bro, we don't need you, bro. We're out of here. And then that's it.
Or he'd be like, you owe me, and he'll be like, oh, you're still the same Jericho, or whatever. You're still the same, or whatever. However you want to word it.
And look, the trademark you just said actually would fit this too, right? The one that he gets his ass kicked by everybody else.
Yeah.
So that actually would work. So good ideas for Chris Jericho. Hopefully they've learned from it, and hopefully they They run with something interesting instead of just the same normal. Hey, I'm gonna fight. Hey, I'm gonna wrestle every Saturday, every Wednesday, and that's it. Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna get tired of Jericho again.
Yeah,
I think
if he wrestles every week, it's done. It won't work.
it gets tired. It gets tiring because it won't be like look right now. He's having a good pop because nobody has seen him for a while, so
Yeah.
that's why. So
You have to make him an attraction. You make him an attraction, not every week. I mean, again, every week you can see him do an interview and a promo because he excels at that stuff. He makes it entertaining. I don't need to see him wrestle every week.
I don't think any of us need to see him wrestle every week. But all right, sir. Any other thing you would like to go ahead and talk about? Man, we went for 2 hours today, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let them know where they can get you, man.
All right, so you guys can follow me at Frankie Fresco. My YouTube channel is off under Frankie Fresco. As far as my social media, it's also Frankie Fresco or just Fresco Music. So you guys are more than welcome to just like I always tell you guys, just type in Fresco, the FREZ as in zebra, and then K as in kite. Oh, and you'll find me because not too many people spell it that way. But you can find me there, and then of course, don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. All you guys that are tuning in on X, thank you so much. I saw there was some good numbers out there. Thank you for tuning in, and also all you guys on YouTube and all the other platforms, Twitch and all that. If you guys and Facebook, if you guys can go hit that like for us and share with your friends if you like the our content and if you want us to keep growing, we appreciate it. Anything helps, and let's keep going. Talking more wrestling next week, hopefully.
No, we'll definitely be talking more wrestling. You can follow me at SS_Sports Talk. I'm at Stanley Media House Network everywhere else. And of course, you can catch us here every Tuesday or Wednesday, 7 or 8. Monday, catch the NASCAR Talking Racing Now, me and Spencer O'Neill, or No Doubt, as you may know him. And on Fridays, of course, South Florida Sports Unfiltered, myself and Adrian Rainey from the Rainy Day Podcast. We talk everything South Florida sports. We'll have a lot of NFL draft. We'll be starting tomorrow, or no, Thursday. Sorry, tomorrow's Wednesday. So Thursday, it will kick off. So I want to thank Eric, as always, for being in. Oscar, Adrian, Memo was in there as well. Chim Dump, appreciate you.
No, see him dump.
See him dump. Oh, I'm sorry. My
like
fault.
CM Punk. So
yeah, I got it. See him dump. Okay, that's. I'm sorry.
He's obviously a CM Punk fan.
Ounce DJ, appreciate you being in there today as well. Sammy was in. Appreciate. That's right. He gave the Sonya Deville. That's right. He was in there. No doubt, as always. Appreciate each and every one of you. Said Oscar, right? There's Wilford Joseph and the AEWs was in as well.
Yep.
Everybody watching us on X, Facebook, Twitch. Don't forget, jump over. Josh was in a little bit earlier on. Me Papa was in as well. Cheyenne was in. And Tony was in for a little bit there.
I did see Tony. Yeah, Tony was there too.
Yep. All right.
Hey, man, we had a lot of people talking here.
Yeah.
Your Papa, of course.
Yeah. Me Papa always.
First.
There it is. First one in as well, too. Look at that.
Gotta love your old man.
I appreciate each and every one of you. But like I said, if you're watching us on Twitch, X, Facebook, jump over to the YouTube channels, Frankie Fresco or Stanley Media House, and Stanley Media House Network. Give them both a subscribe, hit the notifications. We will be back here next Tuesday. I wonder what happens tomorrow on AEW Dynamite. Does Darby Allin kick off the show with
Ciampa?
A welcoming, a celebration?
For being the new heavyweight champ?
For being the new heavyweight champ?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, we'll discuss that and a lot more next week. In the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, shine, state.
This Word Circle Digest!